Hello, duelists. Welcome back to this week's ACPodcast. If you're looking for, what was my slogan again?
If you're looking for important topics, you've come to the wrong place.
No, it's if you're looking for good takes on important topics, you've come to the wrong place. There may be important topics, there may be good takes, but definitely not both together.
Yeah,
I'll get it right next time. So
we're definitely keeping that.
Yeah. So we got perfect name for the podcast, perfect slogan. I think the only thing missing at this point is some sort of
a perfect guest.
I'm giving up on that. The only thing missing is kind of like an intro, like a jingle or something. So I was thinking I don't know if you think this is a good idea. Maybe at the beginning of the podcast or whatever. I sort of find the highlight and put it at the beginning, so it's coming up. And then I say something really ridiculous. And then it's just boom, intro. And then it's my rap. I always top, won't accept 33.
Oh, no.
And then that plays for a minute, not the whole song or whatever, just the hook. And then boom, straight to the podcast.
There's only so much cringe the good people can take, okay?
So it's a good idea then.
Yes.
Okay, all right. We'll try it. To all the parents watching, you need to, when they're young, have a conversation with your kids and say, look, if you need to beat your meat, I better not catch you doing that to some anime shit, okay? I always top, won't accept 33. I always fresh, never wear a dirty tee. Never drop a game, so I say GG. Master of cards, so they call me MC. I always top, won't accept 33. I always fresh, never wear a dirty tee. Never drop a game, so I say GG. Master of cards, so they call me MC. But anyways.
Well, trying is the first step to failure, so.
Anyways, got some great topics for you guys today. As is the norm, topics number 1 and 3 have been picked by the guest. Topic number 2 has been picked by me. And then at the end, we're going to show off some new features of my GOAT format simulator. So, first topic today, we've got cooking is hard, so our chef here is going to condescendingly explain to everyone why they suck at cooking.
No, not condescendingly at all.
Okay, not condescendingly then.
No. This is more of a, I guess me sympathizing, and it only very recently where I realized, holy shit, cooking is really hard. I've just been doing it forever. So, for those who don't know, I didn't
say what topics number 2 and 3 were yet. Calm your shit, okay? So number 1, cooking is hard. Number 2, saying all the topics without being interrupted is hard. No, number 2 is Hentai-nomics. I'm going to explain why hentai is bad for the economy, and this filthy degenerate over here is going to attempt to defend hentai. And then number 3, to use Saku or not to use Saku, that is our GOAT format topic. And our guest here will give his thoughts on that, and I will tell him why he doesn't know anything about GOAT format. Okay, Topic number 1, tell us about why cooking's hard.
Okay, so for those who don't know, I've been before I got to a real job, my job was being a chef, for a good, 2-3 years. That was kind of, my first quote-unquote, Mickey Mouse job, or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, in the kitchen, I learned a lot of things kind of, intuitively, pick stuff up. And, of course, I watch things on YouTube as well. But, a lot of people don't, whenever I, try to, watch people cook in real time, it, hurt me for the longest time. Because I was like, no, you don't put, you don't put mustard and peanut butter together, or, whatever, messed up combinations people are coming up with. But then and it was just one of those things where I realized, balancing flavors and, realizing, oh, well, if you have, if you have a fatty flavor, you want like some acidity to kind of like cut through that. And for those who have no idea what I'm talking about, if you've ever had like a Chinese like pork belly, for example, like if you ever had like they serve the vinegar with it because it kind of, I guess, brightens up the pork belly. Like, and this is another thing. It's so hard to, like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay, because cooking is hard. Like, Alan, do you know what I'm saying when I say these things?
Kind of, but not really. I personally, like, I don't think cooking's super hard. I just don't enjoy it, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, I probably, like, for half my meals I eat out, and then the half that I make at home, I definitely make them, like, try to taste good, but that's just mostly, like, taking a recipe online, and then if it sucks, not using it again.
Or just taking, like, a prepared food, and then just, like, putting spices you like on it.
Well, I mean, what do you mean?
Well, like, I've heard of people putting things like oregano on chicken nuggets, for example.
Yeah, that's a little... Yeah, I don't do... Like, when I make food at home, I make it myself. Like, I don't... It's not like some, like, store-bought thing where it's, like, chicken nuggets, then you stick them in the oven or something. It's... Sure. I don't know. I only make, like, a few things. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I don't want to have to learn, like, 10 different things. It's like, okay, this tastes good. I'm just going to keep doing that, you know?
Right, okay. So
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
yeah,
so I make
sure.
I make like stir fry. That's like a common thing that I make at home. Like, because that's not complicated, right? You just take some chicken and some vegetables, and obviously you season the chicken, and then you you know, and the way that a stir fry works is basically you stir it and then you fry it, right? And then you're done.
Yeah, I mean, you usually want to have some sort of, like, stir-fry sauce to go with it.
Yeah, right? Yeah, like, I get, you know, a sauce... Like, I get the sauces, like, from the store. I don't, like, try to... Because you can make them yourself by, like, combining different things. Like, oh, I'm going to take soy sauce and then, like, add these other things. But I just found, you know, like, I tried different sauces from the store and then just kind of stuck with the one that I like best.
Sure. What is your favorite sauce? Out of curiosity, I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but what is your favorite sauce from the store?
I mean, I don't know what it's called. If you want, I can run down to the kitchen and read it to you.
You could, but that would waste valuable seconds.
I mean, it only take, like, 30 seconds. Okay. So do you have anything else to say with regards to the difficulty of cooking?
Well, one thing that kind of blew my mind, and this happened a couple weeks ago, I have a roommate, right? And my roommate, I was telling him to salt and pepper to taste. And you know what he said to me? And this was kind of what brought on this whole, like, oh my God, you don't know. This guy said, yeah, you could tell me to salt and pepper to taste, but I don't know how much I like. And I'm like, holy shit, you don't. I
guess you would kind of experiment. I mean, I don't know. I don't like putting a lot of salt on my foods, just because I don't know. Salt, adding a bunch of extra salt to things isn't that great for you, for one thing.
Well, I mean, maybe that's why I'm so fat then.
I mean, I don't think it makes you fat. I think
No.
I don't know. I think it's, like, not good for your blood pressure, right?
Something like that. I don't know. My blood pressure's excellent, so who knows. But anyways, like, when something so fundamental is, like, knowing how much salt and pepper you like something that you see as fundamental, someone else sees as impossible, and, like, you have, like, 10 plus years of cooking experience, you just realize, holy shit, maybe it isn't actually as easy as... Maybe it's only easy to you because you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's mostly... Like, because there's two parts of cooking, right? Like, in a way, cooking's kind of like math, right? Because, like, a lot of math in grade school is just following directions.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, when you're studying math, like, particularly at the graduate level, it's not, like, following directions. It's figuring out the directions that other people are going to follow. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my God.
So it's, like, same thing with cooking, right? There's, like, cooking from a recipe, which is, like, your low-level, like, hey, just following directions.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like the, hey, can you like create your own dishes from scratch without having a recipe? So I've never attempted to really do the latter. I've only done the follow directions part of cooking.
Well, something to note, like when you are creating your own recipes, it's a lot easier to just take, things that you've learned from other recipes, like, oh, this combination goes well together, and I know these two foods go well together, and kind of mix them together. Perfect example, I have something I make. I make this like Parmesan encrusted chicken thighs with so basically just and one of the things I wouldn't have thought to do with it is I use a little bit of like white vinegar as like the counteract the fattiness of the chicken thighs, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it cut through the Parmesan was just like perfect. And like you can have that, and the best part about that particular dish, you could have it over pasta. You could just have it as its own thing. You could like mix it into a sauce. You could do anything with that particular dish, and so it's a very common dish I make personally. And like everyone, and like that's when I really feel like you're like, dang. And if you serve to other people and they like it, you're like, dang, I really hit the jackpot. Like you've had my cooking before, right?
I mean, not very often, but yeah, maybe like a couple of times.
Well, like I remember you told me for quote like the apple dessert I made. You're like, yo, that was
that was good. Once you also had some like chicken at your house that I ate that was like seasoned really well.
Probably that was the Parmesan encrusted chicken.
No, I don't think it was. It was. I'm pretty sure there wasn't Parmesan on it. It was like, I don't know, because you didn't make it. It was like leftover. It was kind of one of those things. It was like, I'm at your house, like I'm kind of hungry. You're like, oh, I'll have this, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah. No, I actually remember that. That was actually my garlic lime chicken.
Yeah, I will say though, this is like kind of like a sidetrack. I think, like, I don't know, some people I think make, like, too big of a deal out of their cooking or other people's cooking. Like, sometimes I'd, like, we used to, like, always go to my aunt's house for Thanksgiving, and she was, like, one of these people who just thought, like, she was the shit at cooking. And everyone know that she thought she was the shit, so we all had to be like, oh my god, this is, like, the most amazing turkey I've ever had in my life. And I'm not saying her cooking's bad, but, like...
Nothing to write home about.
It was like, it was like 7 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like, definitely better than like the average person.
Yeah.
But not like, I don't know. Some people I find like, it's like someone who has like one Yu-Gi-Oh top and won't ever shut up about it. It's like the same thing. Like, okay, just because you've like learned how to make a few dishes doesn't mean that like, you're just amazing at cooking. So
yeah, and like even now, like I learn new things all the time in the kitchen, and I've been doing it for 10 years plus. People tell me I'm a good cook, but I certainly don't let it go to my head.
It's one thing if you've like been a professional chef, like at a decent restaurant, not like, I worked at Olive Garden for a few months once. That's one thing. But to me, it's like if I were a professional chef, I would be like even more triggered by people acting like they're just amazing at cooking. I'd just be like, bitch, I do this for a living. You don't know what you're talking about, right? It'd be like if some script kiddie was like, oh yeah, I've written like a few lines of JavaScript before, so I'm just a great programmer. I'd be like, no, shut the fuck up. Like, leave this to the professionals.
Well, like you just learn to just like nod, like, yeah, okay. If your food's good, I'm sure it's great. But then like you see them like doing the pre-seasoning, and then it's like, oh man, I'm gonna put some like hot sauce in my pre-season. I'm like, yeah, see how that goes. Okay, whatever. And of course, people don't know what I'm talking about. Like people like marinate their stuff in hot sauce, and I'm like, dude, that's just. I'm not saying it can't work, but I've never seen it work. Anyways, we can move on from this.
All right, so
pro-con time.
All right. So first of all, I have to give a trigger warning, to all the prudes watching. This discussion is of a sexual nature, so, make sure you get your parents' permission to watch and all that. Anyways, I just want to start off this conversation by saying, as you and the viewers will know, I am an American. But I'm not just an American. I'm an American. So, I like classic American traditions like, I don't know, eating a hot dog at a ball game, cracking a cold one open with the boys, hitting on my relatives at the family reunion.
This is the worst episode yet, I'm calling it.
And, so I buy American and I support America.
And hang on, what kind of car do you drive?
Let's move on. Anyways, I'm sick and tired of all these, foreign countries taking good American jobs. Whether it's Mexico, China, Japan, Philippines. Americans need to stand up and say, we're not gonna take it anymore. So, with my traditional values, I like good old classic American pornography. And, back in my day, if you wanted to watch, a big titty MILF, you had to go out in the real world and find one, damn it. And now, these nerds in Japan can just whip up a cartoon with a big titty MILF in like 5 seconds. And anytime we watch that content, that is money that could be going to hard-working Americans. Instead, it's going to some weeb in Japan. And I've had enough of this. I've had enough of this.
You had enough of this, okay.
Yeah, I've had enough of this. We need to, to all the parents watching, you need to, when they're young, have a conversation with your kids and say, look, if you need to beat your meat, I better not catch you doing that to some anime shit, okay? Because, for those who don't know, just to be clear, hentai, that is animated pornography, of a Japanese nature. So, think anime porn, put them together.
Oh my god.
But anyways, come here, you filthy degen. Tell me how you feel about this, because
okay, well,
we're talking, we're losing our jobs here. America used to be, that used to be an industry that was uniquely American, right? I mean, all the famous porn stars, pretty much all of them are American. We used to dominate that industry. And I'll be damned if we let some foreigners take that away from us.
Okay, and, so, first of all, there is no shortage of jobs in the American porn industry. And there's a market for everyone. So, if you really want to do porn, not that anyone would hire you for porn, you could just start up your own thing on Pornhub and just get a verified account. And, if by some miracle enough people watch it, you'll be able to move to wherever you're moving sooner than later. So that's
look, I want to watch some good old professional American pornography. I want some good production quality. I don't want to, watch, two amateurs doing it on a webcam or whatever. I want, triple A, or I guess triple X. Basically I'm saying I want the top tier shit here, right?
So,
it's not cheap to make good quality porn, I mean, you gotta pay the actors, pay, the directors, the sound people, you gotta pay the fluffer, of course.
But here's something you're forgetting is do you really think that all the people who watch hentai only watch hentai?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying they only do, but again, it's one of those things where I'm concerned about American jobs here. Not to mention the, various moral issues with hentai, which we can get into.
Moral issues?
Oh yeah, I'm tired of the shit of, oh yeah, this woman is drawn like she's a 12-year-old, but, the storyline says she's 30, so that's okay, Oh, you know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't...
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's just hilarious.
Like, oh, we're gonna show, 5 schoolgirls getting, raped by a horde of tentacles, but it's okay because it's animated, like, no. We need to, us good Christian Americans need to stand up for traditional pornography, okay?
You're barely any one of those things.
As far as I'm concerned, God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Weeb, okay? I think that we need to encourage Americans, to watch pornography strictly between one real life man and one real life woman. Or, of course, one man fucking 2 women. Or, a few guys fucking 1 woman. Or, 2 dudes fucking each other in the ass if they're, if that's what you're into. But don't watch hentai. Do not watch hentai.
So, do you really think that every hentai artist is Japanese?
Well, good. I mean, certainly most of them are. I get that not all of them are. And I mean, they might be, they might be Chinese, they might be, I don't know, they might be Thai or something, but this is not an industry that is American, and for good reason. Real Americans don't watch hentai. That's just a fact. So
let me get this straight. You're worried about a niche market that the vast majority of people don't know exists.
Niche market. Well, first of all,
dude,
most people do know that it exists.
You know what you sound like? You sound like Apple and Samsung being worried that BlackBerry is going to make a comeback. That's what you sound like.
No,
right
I mean, just look at the trends, okay? Again, back in my day, we didn't have this shit, okay? We didn't have this shit.
Yeah, but the
trend, all of our jobs are being automated away. We got self-checkout at the grocery store. We've got robots building our cars. We've got, I don't know, I'm sure Andrew Yang's got 1,000 examples of things being automated away. But, and now we're losing the porn industry too. That's just going to be automated away too. Soon there's just not going to be any jobs left for real Americans.
Yeah.
We need to take our jobs back. Make pornography great again. Okay? What we need to do is take our tiki torches, get outside, and say, weebs will not replace us. Weebs will not replace us.
Oh my god. Yeah, well, good luck with that.
No,
Also, you really think that people, no one in America gets extra value from watching hentai?
I mean, I'm sure they'd consider,
and what about
extra value? But
and what about this? A lot of most of the porn producers, even the ones that produce hentai, not producers, distributors, even those are mostly based in America. So they are creating American jobs as well as creating Japanese jobs. And like I said, some hentai is completely homemade, I guess you could say.
Sure. I mean, well, again, that's the problem that, it's homemade. We're going to, with the rate that we're going, in a few decades, there's going to be no real porn studios left. I mean, there used to be a time when, hey, if you were, born with an 8-inch dick like Ron Jeremy, you just had it made. You were just set for life. But if I could just draw an 8-inch dong on, whatever anime character I want, we're taking that away.
No, we're not. People still want to see real people for the most part. It's a very small percentage of people.
For now, but again, I'm looking at where the trends are going, and they're not going in the right direction. We need to put this to a stop now. We need to nip it in the butt, so to speak.
So what you're saying is that 2D waifus rule supreme? Is that what you're saying, Alan?
No, I'm saying, basically anyone who even says the word waifu unironically probably needs to be sent to pornography re-education training, right? I mean, this is a serious problem. Why do you think the population in Japan is dropping. You know, people unironically think that, oh yeah, 2D girls are better. Do you know that, like, Japan the Japanese government is literally trying to pay its citizens to fuck each other?
Yes, I know.
Like, that's how desperate things have gotten over there.
Well,
and
there's a lot of reasons for that, actually, and that's not the problem, though. That, like, 2D waifus are better isn't the problem. It's a symptom of the underlying problem. In Japan, anyways, and we can honestly, this could really just be the next topic. Don't
get me wrong, there's a lot of problems, but you know, all roads lead back to anime in this case. You know, I'm just saying before anime existed, Japan's population was doing fine. All of a sudden, you know, anime becomes, you know, sort of the biggest industry there, and it's just been all downhill from there. You know, their mental health is worse too. You know, anime gets created and all of a sudden people aren't fucking, suicides are up. It's just not good. And, you know, if this comes here, if this comes to America, you know, we're gonna, you know, coronavirus pandemic, already difficult to manage as it is. If we have a hentai pandemic, oh man, there is no turning back, because you can't vaccinate people against hentai. Can't vaccinate people against hentai. So what we need to do is, you know, we need to build a wall to keep hentai out and make Japan pay for it.
Okay.
You know, like a firewall, not like a real physical wall.
Yes, I knew what you meant.
You know, China's already doing that. You've probably heard about the Great Firewall of China. Do you think they're letting their citizens watch hentai? I don't think so. China knows what's going on.
China's also not letting their citizens use Facebook and YouTube, so...
Hey, you know, maybe those places aren't that great either, you know? I mean...
Okay.
You know, Facebook, you know, just a place where people can share hentai links with each other. And, you know, YouTube, you know, I mean, that has plenty of anime videos, and anime is just a gateway drug to hentai. So, maybe they're onto something.
First of all, you get zucked if you share hentai on Facebook.
Not if it's in a private group. How are they gonna know?
Yeah, if it's in a private group, maybe.
I mean,
so you're worried about basically word of mouth spread on an industry that isn't really taking jobs away from Americans.
It's a fact.
About an industry that's grown pretty much every year since its existence. Like, I don't see what you're worried about here.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The porn industry is growing, but you know, America needs to defend its position in the world as the leader of pornography. We can't just let these fucking weebs take our jobs. You know, I'm sorry.
Oh my god. Can we move on now? This is just getting hard.
Yeah, we can
This is just getting hard. And no pun intended.
All right.
Oh my god.
So what do you got to say about Saku, you hentai loving fuck?
I never once said I love hentai, and I don't really like hentai either. Anyways, it's besides the point. So, anyways, with Saku, one of the things I see a lot, especially on the ladder, and this one I play like pretty much any deck that like does a lot of attacking. People really, I don't think have a good sense on when to use their Sakus. Like people don't realize when to protect their life points or whether to save it to like out something. Like I'll see this all the freaking time, but like I'll see someone like Saku, like the one guy on board, and then the very next turn, like they'll like activate Scapegoat just to shield like one attack of like the exact same guy. Like this happened the other day when I was playing Angel Chaos. Like I attacked with Angel, and then just and then he just Saku'd it, and then the very next turn I played it. He scapegoated, but then he meta'd, and this guy was not shuffling his hand. The meta was like on the far right.
Oh, so you're saying that he should have gone Goat's meta first and then saved the Saku to protect his Thousand Eyes from like a Tsukiyomi?
Yeah. Like I think a lot of people don't think like, maybe I should save this for an out. Maybe I should, like, people think, well, this guy's gonna hurt my life points, might as well do it. Even when there might be a better option. Like, maybe even, like, using his life point using his life points as a resource would have been better there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think some people make that mistake, but I don't know. I don't think it's like one of the mistakes that I see people make more frequently. I don't know. I mean, like when I stream, like it's hard because a lot of times you don't know what your opponent has or had or whatever. So usually when I get Saku'd, to me it's not like an obvious mistake. Like it could be, but like I don't know their hand, so it's hard for me to know.
Sure. I guess part of it is like I'm kind of on the board of, and like I said, I'm a mediocre GOAT player. I'm far from the best. But like I'm on the board of, in this format in particular, your cards get better the more information you have. And I think Saku is a card that actually, like, it gets better, like, probably less so than, like, say, like we talked about Graceful last week. Like, Graceful, I think, gets way better the more info you have. And, like, I think Saku, it's a much more, like, steady slope. But I think that, like, all of, like, the higher-rated people I play, I never feel like a Saku's out of place. Whereas, like, most of the people that I play lower than me, I'm like, why would you Saku that? That makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes it's kind of hard to know because, as I like to tell people, life points do matter. So sometimes I feel like people take too many hits and then they're like kind of boxed into a corner. So sometimes I'll summon a monster attack, the hit will go through, and then next turn I'll just like attack with the same monster again, and then they'll Saku. I'm like, well, if you just done that the turn before, you'd have whatever it is, 1,800 more life points. If I'm attacking with like a Kaiku or something, or 1,600 more life points if I'm attacking with like a tribe or whatever.
Well, also keep in mind, like, probably they wanted to, like, that might be a point, like, if you were like at 8 and they took one hit, that might be a point where they're like, okay, well, next turn, like, I have a couple of outs, or I have the Tsukiyomi in my hand, or whatever, and people just Saku there anyways. Even though, like, if you Tsukiyomi either one of those cards...
Oh, you're saying you have Tsukiyomi and you can just kill their guy for free?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's why you play Tsukiyomi, to kill their guy for free, so...
Yeah, like, I would never Saku the guy. I would take the hit, Tsukiyomi, and if they Saku my Tsukiyomi, now I know that, well, I guess I'm Sakuing this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, like, decisions like when to use removal versus save it, to me it's like so automatic that like I barely even discuss it. I mean, I feel like with Mirror and Torrential there's always the debate of like, should you just do it on the first threat? Should you try to like save it and bait them into playing more things? But with Saku, it's like usually it's just obvious to me whether I should use it or not. But yeah, the other example of course is like you have Saku set with like Chaos Sorcerer in your hand and they summon a monster and attack. If it's not like Kaiku, usually I'm just going to take the hit and sorcerer their guy. I'm not going to like just use Saku there.
Exactly, but even there, people mess up quite a bit. Like, maybe, like, the only thing I can think of is, like, sometimes maybe people want to play around, like, I don't know, Solemn or something. I don't even know. I don't even, like, keep in mind, like, I think it might just be like the last couple of weeks I've been playing, but I've seen an awful lot of like Saku mistakes. And I'm like, what's going on here? Yeah, maybe it's just like because keep in mind, like I'm not that great.
I take it you don't like have a specific replay to show us, do you?
Maybe. Well, like I can't think of one off the top of my head, but like
okay, next time you should come prepared.
I mean, when do I ever come prepared, Alan?
I don't know.
Anyways, point being is like there was a game where like games 1 and 3, him using his Saku early cost him the game because like I was playing actually like a detox goat control deck with like Air Knights and stuff, just around, and he Saku'd my my tribe he Saku'd my tribe, and he ended up losing to Air Knight because he just ran out his 2 Sakus for my tribe and like my Mystic Tomato. Whereas like he could have beaten those cards, like he had played other cards like later in the game, around that time that like would have beaten those cards. But he just like chose not to and chose to Saku them instead. And then as a result, he literally lost to Air Knight because you just had no outs.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll be curious to see like if people have anything in the comments to say about this.
Yeah, like I imagine like it's because like here's the thing. I feel like if you're good enough to know that you're making these mistakes, you don't make them. But if you are not good enough to know,
right.
Yeah, like that's kind of like how I feel about it. Like I'm definitely good enough to know, like for the most part, when to Saku, when not to Saku. But I feel like everyone once in a while is like, oh man, maybe I should have saved my Saku. Like everyone once in a while, like has that thought, like whether or not it was correct or not, like to Saku in the moment. Like everyone has a thought, like, oh man, I should have saved it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like, I'll Saku their monster, and then I'll, like, top deck Snatch Steal the next turn, and then kind of wish I hadn't Saku'd, but it's kind of hard to just, like, know you're gonna top deck Snatch Steal.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about that, but, like, maybe you just, like, Saku something because you're, like, well, you know, and then you kind of didn't do the math and realize, wait, like, 2/3 of my deck isn't out here, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, that's pretty rare, I don't feel like.
It's rare, but, like, these things, like...
it's impossible for 2/3 of your deck to be out to something.
Yes, it is basically impossible, but, like, if you have, like, Pot Graceful still in your deck and, like, 10 cards left and you need to, like...
Yeah.
You know, and you have all of your straps left, there's basically 2/3 of your deck isn't out.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that doesn't really happen, but it's one of those things that you got to keep in mind, I guess.
All right, so you want to move on to Goat Simulator features?
I do, because like I think that, like I said, all I want to say to the good people before we move on from this is, you know, like I'm not the best, but I certainly can pick out some mistakes, and one of the mistakes I've been seeing a lot of lately is Saku misuse, especially from like mid to low ladder players. Like upper ladder players, like I always feel it's in play. Maybe it might just be like I might just be bad, and it's very possible. I'm pretty terrible, but like let's move on to goat stuff.
All right, so I don't know. There's a few things different. First, like on the register page, I added this like referral code thing, which it doesn't really do anything yet, but people will be able to. I was thinking of having, like, you know, someone refer someone else to the site and they get some sort of, like, benefit for it.
I mean, sure, but what would that benefit be?
Well, I'll talk about that in a sec. I've also added, like, this doesn't do anything yet, but eventually there's going to be, like, a data analysis platform associated with this. So you'll be able to, like, run queries on the duels and see, for example, like, oh, is Raigeki Break better than Phoenix Windblast? You know, let's, like, run a filter and see, like, which card has won more matches or whatever. You know, that sort of thing.
Right.
There? Okay.
I'm here.
Alright, I just heard weird sounds.
I had a cough.
So, you'll notice one of the new features now... Oh, wait, I need to share my screen. Hold on. So, Matt, can you see how, like, there's these animated stars on the cards?
Stars? You mean like the actual like summoning stars?
No, like on the card art.
Wait, hold on. Let me full screen this because maybe I just
basically
can't.
I tried to make the cards look foil. That's the idea.
Okay.
You
I
can
respect
see
it.
You can see this?
I can see it now, yeah. That's kind of
cool.
cool.
So I mean, you know, I might change this a little, but like one of the things that I want is like, you know, if you win duels, you can like unlock foils and stuff, just to like sort of give people like another reason to grind. Just I don't know, just something that I thought would be cool. Like people said, like, oh, the game should have like more animations, and it could be like a little glitchy when it like loads up at first. So I'm definitely gonna like fine tune it a bit. But yeah, you know, give these cards this foil animation. So then the other thing is, and I mentioned this on YouTube, is you can hover over part of a card's text and it tells you what kind of effect it is now. So here we can see that like Abyss Soldier is an ignition effect. We can see that like BLS has, you know, the first effect is an ignition effect, then the second effect is a trigger effect. You know, we can see that Air Knight the piercing damage effect is continuous. The draw a card effect is trigger. So yeah, that's kind of like one of the main things. Trying to think if I've done anything else, because like I forget like what I've showed people and what I haven't. Oh yeah, then there's the feature that I tried to show on the last podcast, but there's like a bug, which is this thing. So
hold on, it's just purple.
Well, yeah, this is like a demo. This is a demo of this component. Can you see the text?
Thousand Eyes is the best fusion monster in the game. Yeah, there you go.
Right. So like here, this Thousand Eyes, it says when we hover over it, it says click for card details. Then we click on it, we get like the text.
Cool. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah. So this is going to be used for like, I don't know. Say like I'm writing an article on the platform, you could sort of link, the Thousand Eyes restrict part to, hey, here's what the card does if you don't know, right?
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that.
Oh yeah, and then also, I want to mention like there's sounds now for everything. So,
that is huge.
So you'll notice, it flipped over. Oh, it's actually not supposed to do that while it's in my hand. But we set, you hear that sound. If we summon a monster, we get that sound. Yeah, I actually need to change some of these sounds because some of them are wrong, but yeah, that's sort of the idea. So we can still search our deck. It should make a sound. Yeah, so we get that sound. I also like on all these sort of menus here at the bottom, I have like a shortcut. Oh wait, people can't see. There we go. So here it says like shortcut, double click a card to add it to your hand. So I can double click this card, it goes to my hand. I just at the bottom wanted to tell people what the shortcuts were, because if people don't know, then they don't really do any good, right? So here, for this card in our grave, we can double click a card to banish it. And then you hear the banish sound. We can double click it to put it back in our grave. Then we sort of hear the to grave sound. And then also I added a script for Scapegoat. So we just click make tokens and it summons 4 tokens.
That was... Wow, that was cool.
Yeah, and obviously here, like, it has the stats of the token, right? So it's, 0, 1 star Earth, with the Scapegoat art, of course, and, if I had something like Ojama Trio, then it would, be an Ojama token instead of a goat token. Whereas, like, on Dueling Book, all of their tokens look the same, so there's no way to distinguish between, like, a goat token and an Ojama token, other than just, like, knowing how the tokens got there, right? So...
Right, sure.
So, yeah, I mean, that's... pretty much it, I think, as far as new features go. There's some sort of minor things I was doing with the code that, are kind of on the back end that there isn't really anything to show. But yeah, I mean, just like getting all the effects, to show was, you have to do that all manually, right? Because the game doesn't know that saying it's a trigger effect, you have to tell it it's a trigger effect. So,
Sure.
Basically, the way that I did that with the code is, hold on, let me find card DB. Should be somewhere. Oh, here we go. But hold on, I don't think you can see that. So let me.
What are you trying to show me? I mean, it doesn't look
trying to show you my code. Hold on.
Oh, dude, I'm barely a JavaScript developer, and when I say barely, like that's being like that's like an insult.
You don't have to know JavaScript to understand what's going on. So it's like here, like with Tribe Infecting Virus. I don't know if you can see this. Hopefully the viewers can at least.
I am scrolling in. I'm trying to, anyways.
So here it says like there's angle brackets, then it goes effect equals ignition, and then and then there's this closing tag for effect.
Cool.
The other thing that I did that was like kind of minor but is relevant is there's a lot of old GOAT format cards that have never been reprinted, so they don't have problem solving text. So I added that. So like Reaper on the Nightmare is an example. So here, let's find that. So again, this card was like hasn't been printed in like 10 years plus. So it has problem solving text now, right? It says, okay, first we've got a continuous effect. This card is not destroyed as a result of battle. Then we have a continuous effect again. After resolving a card effect that targets this card, destroy this card. Another continuous effect can attack the opponent directly. And then a trigger, when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, discard a random card from their hand. So
nice.
And that. Some other cards got updated text too. So like 1,000 Eyes Restrict is actually an example.
Oh, right.
So, like, I added the parts of this card's text that says this card must be face up on the field to activate and to resolve this effect. The effect about equipping a guy.
Right.
Because that's not what the current text is, but that is how it works in GOAT format. So rather than having a ruling that says, hey, if you book Thousand Eyes, the effect doesn't go through, this text makes it clear that the effect won't go through, because it has to be face up on the field to resolve the effect.
Right.
And then, like, I changed Nobleman to Crossout's text, too, to take out the part about showing each other decks, right? So it just says, banish it. If it was a flip, each player banishes all cards from their deck.
And you already showed that banish all. That was, I think that's one of my favorites. That was awesome.
Yeah, so, I mean, we can show it again just for people who might have missed it.
I don't see any reason why not. It was pretty cool.
We need a flip. I'm just trying to find a flip. Yeah, is there ever going to be a flip here? Okay. I mean, Morphing Jar is not the best example because we only play one. I just need, like, Faith or Merchant. Man, we're getting so unlucky. Okay, there it is. So yeah.
I was about to say.
So Crossout's in play, so we can, banish all of our Faiths. And then when we look at the banished, we got our 2 Faiths.
Sure.
And they're both foil. Because, for this demo, all of our cards are foil.
Because why not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a baller here, so all of our cards are foil. But yeah, that'll be like something that you'll unlock. So you'll start out, all your cards are not foil, and then I don't know, maybe after you win a game, it's, oh, you unlocked, foil Beaver Warrior. And you're like, that's not helpful, I'm not playing Beaver Warrior. But, if you play enough games, eventually, like, a lot of cards in your deck will be foil. That's the idea.
And that's cool. Yeah,
I don't know. And, because, like, people say, oh, the game needs more animations. I mean, for now, like, this stuff, like, isn't a priority, right? I mean, I might add more foil effects later, right? Because there's, a lot of different ways you could potentially do this. But, obviously, the next priority is to get, like, sort of everything that we need for the game to be working. I whipped up this, like, foil effect, like, in an hour today. So this isn't something that, like, I necessarily have, like, optimized to try to make sure that it looks as good as possible, doesn't glitch or whatever. But the nice thing is that the foil animation is pretty lightweight. Because with animations that can, depending on how you do them, that can consume a lot of resources on the user's end. But this one is, like, pretty simple. So yeah, I think that's it for today. I actually realized that I forgot to read off the best comments from last week.
Ah, jeez.
But they weren't that great anyways. But yeah. So yeah, let me know, guys, what your thoughts are on cooking and hentai and goats and whatnot. Make sure you do all the things that tells YouTube that you like me, and
you're supposed to say Wait one for the algorithm for your boy or something like that. Whatever tower people do it these days.
I couldn't even hear what you said. Your voice kind of cut out.
I was saying, like, you're supposed to say something like, make sure you tap that like button for the algorithm and ring the bell or whatever. Whatever YouTubers say these days. I don't even freaking know.
Alright, make sure you tap
Smack
that
like
bell
button.
for the algorithm and ring the subscribe button. Okay.
There you go. Good
Have a good
job.
one, guys.
Good job.